The drive for three for Rich Froning begins here at the Willett Aquatic Center in Irvine, California. He is up next in the third and final heat for the men as he gathers his thoughts before the men take to the floor here, and we'll get going in the first of 12 scored events. So Jason Khalifa, a man who's also been atop the podium. He did that in 2008. Not a guy who's known for his athleticism, but one of the hardest workers out there.
You know, he has improved his athleticism and his fitness every year. And I have to say that he looks better this year than he ever has. So I expect a podium shot for him, for sure. I mean, he's looking great. How he's going to do in the water, I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, Matt Chan on the left of your screen, he is the second place finisher from 2012 and someone who spent a lot of time in the water as not only a water polo player, but also someone who surfs, so he's very comfortable moving through.
You know he's put this stuff together before. I mean, there's without a doubt, has he spent time in the water than doing thrusters or kettlebell swings or something outside of the water. So I think that he's going to do well here for sure. He's going to definitely be one of the men to beat.
Matt Chan is not the only man in this heat to have experience in water. Jordan Troyan, you heard Rory talk about him. He's a four-year All-American swimmer at Westchester University. Lucas Parker out of Canada West with that ginormous beard. I don't know if that's going to slow him down a little bit. Can you give a chin cap for that thing? Or?
I think he should have done that. I mean, granted, that took a long time to grow that beard, but that is drag right there without a doubt. Swimmers will shave down to cut off those few extra, seconds, but that beard is, it's an amazing, beautiful, gargantuan beard, and it's definitely going to slow him down a little bit.
Lucas Parker making his third appearance here at the CrossFit Games, and he is one of the most recognizable athletes in this sport. But also in this heat, we have Josh Bridges. He's currently with the United States Navy, and then we have a former Navy SEAL in lane number one, Zach Forrest. And that's Jordan Troyan. This is his first appearance at the Games. He was a four-year All-American swimmer, and look for him to go out very fast here.
You know, he's also, he's been involved in a lot of lifeguard competitions, so it's not just getting in a pool and swimming, it's swimming and running and paddling and everything like that. So I think he's very well adapted for this workout, and he's got to be feeling comfortable right now, and it's a nice thing to step into your first Games and have that.
In the middle, in lane number 5, Josh Bridges. His first appearance is 2011, sat out last year. He finished second to Froning in 2011, and he is one of the men that many people think might have a chance of knocking Froning from that top spot on the podium.
Again, a lot of time in the water. I mean, being with the Navy, he spends a lot of time in the water, does a lot of training in the water, and working with Invictus and with CJ, they spend a lot of time in the water, so he's going to be strong here, and the bar muscle-ups are not going to be an issue.
Right next to Josh Bridges in lane 6, Scott Panjic out of the Central East. He finished 4th at the Games in his first appearance last year and did very well at the Central East Regional, finished second to Mr. Froning. Your starting grid. Lane 1, Zach Forrest, the former Navy SEAL. Josh Bridges occupies lane 5. He is currently in the Navy. Matt Chan, the second place finisher from 2012 and the former water polo player, will work out of lane number 9. And then on the far end of the pool in lane 16, the four-year All-American swimmer from Westchester University, Jordan Troyan.
It's going to be kind of crazy with him being way over on the side because the group is not going to see him. He knows how to look at everyone in the pool, but they don't know how to really look at him. So I think he's going to be kind of sneaky, and they may miss him. They may miss him.
So for the first time in CrossFit Games history, we are at a pool, and we are also combining swimming with another movement. 10 rounds of a 25-yard swim, 3-bar muscle-ups, and then another 25-yard swim, a 25-minute time cap. And every time you do a bar muscle up, you have to jump off the bar.
That's right. It's going to break that up. You can't have a real good consistency with that. You have to reset every single time. We didn't see it. I really thought we'd see a lot more drying of the hands. In the men's heats, I didn't see that at all. So I don't expect these guys to do it at all.
Ben Smith, one of the younger competitors. He's already a veteran, just 23 years old. He was 11th at the Games last year. The third and final heat is underway. The time to beat belongs to West Piatt. It's 11 minutes, 13.4 seconds. And these are the top athletes for the men at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. And in lane number 9, Matt Chan out of the water. Lane 16, Jordan Troyan as well. And Troyan going to the towel. Chan right to the bar.
You know what Jordan did right there? He actually looked to see if everyone else was going to wipe their hands, and they put the towel down real quick. So I think he's going to change up his strategy here. He knows it's a relatively long event. He's got to get through a lot of rounds, but that's definitely going to change. And that dive was the trademark of a swimmer. So you'll know a swimmer by the way they dive in the water.
He chewed up about half the pool before he came out of the water. And Troyan now in the lead. Matt Chan in second place. And then in lane 2, Kenneth Leverage also on the lead pace. So Leverage and Chan for second, and now Troyan is in first, but now it looks like Leverage may be pulling ahead of Chan. So it's a three-way battle for first between Troyan in lane 16, Chan in lane 9, and Leverage in lane 2.
You know, Kenny Leverage, he's a waterman. He spends a lot of time in the water surfing and things like that. He's a California kid. He's going to be in the water. The bar muscle-ups are not going to be a problem. So what this entire event's going to come down to is how are these guys going to swim? Are they going to go out too hard? Can their body stay streamlined the whole time? And I'll tell you what, the one person you know that will happen with is going to be Jordan Troyan over in lane 16. But Kenny looks great right now. And all of them, if they've had any kind of swimming training, there's a little dolphin kick when they dive in the water as well.
So Leverage was first into the water. Troyan right behind him, but Troyan did that dolphin kick. He was under the water for half the pool, and now he is first to make the turn ahead of Leverage. So it's Troyan in first, Leverage in second, and Matt Chan now battling Leverage for second place, and it looks like Chan now is pushing Troyan for first place.
You know, look at the distance that these three swimmer guys have pulled from the rest of the group. They are already half pool lengths away from everybody else. So you can tell who the swimmer people are and who the non-swimmer people are.
So Troyan is out, Chan is out, and now Leverage is out as they are all on round 3. The time to beat 11 minutes, 13.4 seconds belonging to West Piatt. This is the third and final heat of our first of 12 scored events here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. And Kenneth Leverage with 1 rep to go. Meanwhile, Troyan back into the water. And Matt Chan as well. So it's Troyan in the lead in lane 16. Chan right behind him, and Kenneth Leverage currently sits in third place. But now Leverage is getting some pressure from lanes 3, 4, and 5 from Chad McKay, Ben Smith, and Josh Bridges.
It's a wondering, you know, did Kenny come out a little too fast? He may have. It's hard. It's that first event. You get those jitters. You want to get going. You can see the distance that Jordan and Matt have pulled on the rest of the group right now. Both those guys, their form is just impeccable in the water. I'm wanting to see if Jordan's going to start to have any sort of an issue with his bar muscle-ups. Matt isn't having any problem.
So Chan and Troyan on the bar at the same time. So Chan can probably get through these a little faster. Troyan's losing a little ground on the bar, but when he gets in the water, that's when he's doing a ton of damage. Chan's on your left, Troyan is on your right. That's number 3 for Chan. So he's actually going to beat Troyan back to the water, but Troyan right behind him by a split second. They probably got into the water at the same time. Troyan with a running leap, and now making up that ground that he lost to Chan. He's back in front.
Now, Matt knew the history of Jordan Troyan. So what he has to do right now is think, okay, where am I going to make up my time? Where can I lose it? He knows he's going to be decent in the water, but he has to make sure he's staying solid. Wow, he just changed up to a backstroke, and I was not expecting that. What that's showing to me is that he's actually starting to like breathe a little harder. He wants to take in a little bit more air. Jordan's not going to have that issue. That may be a problem for Matt.
Chan quickly back to the freestyle. Now Troyan out of the pool, Chan out of the pool. Kenneth Leverage has fallen off the lead pace, but he still sits in third. He's trying to hold off McKay, Smith, and Josh Bridges. So Chan and Troyan back for their bar muscle-ups. Troyan on the left and Chan on the right.
Now you see Matt starting to break down. He's starting to have to throw one arm over. I think that's what's happened is he's actually starting to push a little bit too hard in the pool. He's starting to break down, not getting enough oxygen, and so he's starting to fail on the muscle-ups. He hasn't totally broke, but it's starting to look bad now, and that's what we're only halfway through this event.
So Troyan still in the lead. He's about a body length ahead of Matt Chan, who sits in lane 9. Troyan in lane 16 at the top of your screen. We approach the 5-minute mark. The time to beat 11:13.4 seconds. We're live from the Willett Aquatic Center in Irvine, California. I'm Sean Woodland alongside Bill Grundler.
It is going to come down to inches, especially
The battle for third now is being won by Kenneth Leverich in lane 2. Leverich was with Chan and Troyan at the outset of this event, but now he's fallen back, and he and Ben Smith battling for third, and it looks like Smith may have overtaken Leverich. Chad McKay in lane 3, the big Australian. He is also challenging for one of the top 3 spots. And now Ben Smith occupies third place behind Matt Chan and Jordan Troyan.
You know, again, it's just he's more consistent and smooth in the water. He's a lot more efficient. His body's staying tight. His feet aren't coming out all crazy on his kick. He's gliding on his stroke, so he's conserving that energy.
So Jordan Troyan still in the lead. The battle for third taking place on the pull-up bar. In lane 2, it's Kenneth Leverich. Next to him in lane 3 is Chad McKay. And then in lane 4, just coming off the bar and making his way back to the water, is Ben Smith, who sits in third. Now, let's not forget, the winner of every event here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games gets $3,000. So there's a lot more than points on the line here.
Yeah, $3,000 isn't too shabby, you know. Being that it's becoming a professional deal here, and these athletes are becoming professional athletes, that's always nice to have. But you know what? They want this first event in the bag. They want to start off and start off their entire weekend with a nice win.
Jordan Troyan out of the water first ahead of Matt Chan, and he is on to the bar first. Took a second to dry off his hands. Chan does not. He is right on the bar. Chan on the right, throwing that one arm over. Not as smooth as Troyan on the left, as we are now through 6.5 minutes here in the third and final heat.
Now, what I will say is this. Matt is a bigger athlete, so even though he's battling through these, and he's starting to break now.
He got no rep on the one before that.
You know, and that's what you don't want to have happen. You need to have a good kip. Maybe what he needs to start doing now is actually start drying off his hands, get some chalk on his hands so we can lock onto that bar.
So Jordan Troyan already to the other end of the pool and leaving Matt Chan in his wake. Chan failing another bar muscle up, and he is falling back as Ben Smith has now taken over second place.
He needs to slow down. He needs to get some chalk on those hands. He's got to lock his hands on that bar. He's using too much energy. You can see his bottom arm is dropping every single time. That's just not what he wants to have happen right now.
So Matt Chan now trying to catch up with Ben Smith, as Smith has taken over second place. Meanwhile, Jordan Troyan is already back on the pull-up bar for round 8.
Right there, Ben Smith, I want you to look at his stroke. Look at his kick. He doesn't have a real strong kick. Right there is Jordan Troyan. When we get to his stroke, it'll be impeccable. I can promise that one. Jordan not having any sort of an issue with the muscle up, and he was even talking to the refs during the time. You know, so he's not. This is well in his wheelhouse. Now he wants to do really well. I mean, look at his stroke.
And
Perfect
Troyan
line.
Stayed underwater. We talked about this before the event, that guys who know what they're doing in swimming, when they dive through, they'll use that dolphin kick and stay underwater from almost more than half the pool, and we saw that right there with him.
That glide, when that streamlined pencil glide, that saves energy. You don't want to push against the water, and the swimmers understand that, the non-swimmers don't.
And even in the late rounds, he's still doing this. You would expect, when he's already been through 8 rounds of this, that his breath might be suffering, but he's still able to take that break and not breathe.
A 500-meter swim for a swimmer is barely the warm-up. So these guys, he's not losing his breath right now.
So Troyan back on the bar. This is round 9. The time to beat is 11:13.4, and unless Jordan Troyan suffers an epic blowout here, he is going to win this event going away.
He's absolutely, I mean, it's complete annihilation of this. If you were going to put someone in this particular event, he's the guy to see what kind of real good score you're going to get.
Ben Smith currently sits in second place. Matt Chan is in third, as Chan struggled on his 8th round of bar muscle-ups and fell well behind Troyan, and then surrendered even more ground to Ben Smith, who was able to take over second place as Jordan Troyan makes the turn and is back for his 10th and final round of bar muscle-ups. And Jordan Troyan looks like he's going to get himself 100 points.
Absolutely crushing it right now. I mean, again, he's swimming it perfect. He even is coming to the wall, relaxing, rolling to his back, taking a little breath. Let me have a little conversation with you as, you know, before I finish this.
Well, Troyan has actually talked with somebody in the crowd to sort of let him know where he stands, so it's good strategy. Absolutely. You have someone who can watch the rest of the field, so he doesn't need to worry about that. He's back on the bar now. Troyan with a couple more to go, and he will close out this event and pocket $3,000.
Wow, he just is absolutely handling this whole event.
Troyan back in the water.
halfway across the pool before he even breathes.
Not going to get inside 10 minutes, but Jordan Troyan is going to open up his very first CrossFit Games with a victory. He's out of the water. He'll come across his touchpad, and Jordan Troyan with the time. As we wait for the final results,
Ben Smith right now coming in. He looks solid. He looks so good right now. Look at that. Look at that. It's so smooth. He's getting up. He's going to hop out of the pool, finish across the line. Wow, Ben Smith.
Ben Smith, a second place finish. So Jordan Troyan is your winner. $3,000 and 100 points. Matt Chan, who was in second place for a good portion of this event, just finishing up his 10th round, and Chan is trying to lock up a third place finish. So Jordan Troyan at final time of 10:06. Ben Smith next to him, 10:28. Now the race for third in lane 5. That's Josh Bridges. Bridges out of the pool, Chan out of the pool. Who gets to the touchpad first? It's going to be Bridges in third, and Chan will finish in fourth place.
Wow. Again, you know, we thought for sure Josh would be in there. He needed that, but wow, that was a great comeback on his part.
So now Josh Bridges doing himself a lot of favors here in this opening event. Chad McKay, the big Australian, is in. In lane 2, Kenneth Leverich is in. Zach Forrest in lane 1 still out there. Scott Panchik on his final round in his last swim. Graham Holmberg. Rich Froning is only on round 9. So this is exactly what Josh Bridges needed. Get a nice big cushion heading into some other events over the two-time defending champion.
Well, again, you know, guys like Matt Chan, who was sitting second last year, he wants #1 spot, so this is the event he needed to do well in.
So Scott Panchik is in. Panchik, one of those men from the highly contested Central East region, and now Rich Froning making his way back down for his 10th and final round.
Now, I will say this. What's been classic with Rich is he always can kind of hang in that top 5. Wow, Jason Kalipa, good
Jason
right
Kalipa
there.
is in. So Jason Kalipa glad that this event is over. Kalipa with a time of 12 minutes, 12.1 seconds. So a solid time for Jason Kalipa.
You know, right there, not a typical place we see Rich Froning, the last one out of the water. However, you can see, look at his kick. That is not an efficient kick. When he's kicking that hard like that, it's wasting a lot of energy. The better swimmers will have what's called a 2-beat kick, especially for something like this. They barely are kicking. It's just enough to keep their butt up. Everything else is all in their arms and their back.
Well, make note of this moment, everyone, because this is one of the rare times that you will see Rich Froning look somewhat mortal. Dan Bailey is in. Now Rob Forte, and now Rich Froning for his final set of 3 bar muscle-ups. And now it's Graham Holmberg making his way back down the pool. He has closed out his final set of bar muscle-ups. And Rich Froning, once again, take note of this, breathing heavily.
Last in his heat. Rich Froning last in his heat. We don't ever say that, ever. And it's an amazing. So what's going to be interesting now over the course of the rest of the weekend is how is he able to mentally handle that? He's never been in this position. He's never had a score like this. So how is he going to be able to handle it? That's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah, messing with his goggles, and Rich Froning coming back in lane number 8. So remember, this is just the first of 12 scored events, and Froning can make up plenty of ground as we continue through the Reebok 2013 CrossFit Games. Meanwhile, Lucas Parker is hunched over in lane number 14 as he is struggling. He's only on round 9 here.
I'm telling you, it's the beard. I'm telling you, it's the beard.
That thing will weigh you down. That clearly did not shave. He would needed a team to do that, I think. A NASCAR pit crew, probably.
Wow. You know what? He looks better with like a lumberjack axe in his hand, I think, than swim goggles.
Yes.
But you know what? Again, this is what fitness is all about. We need to test everything. You need to be good at everything to be the fittest. I think for sure after he comes back after this year, this is going to be something he's going to throw into his regular training so that this will never never be in this situation again.
There's a 25-minute time cap here. Lucas not in danger yet of hitting that. We still have 10 minutes to go on the 25-minute time cap. But Lucas Parker, the only man left in the pool. His fellow competitors have moved their way down to that end. And they're going to cheer Lucas on. He has to make his way back down the pool, 3 more bar muscle ups, and then back to close out his event. But the winner, Jordan Troyan, 10 minutes, 6 seconds flat.
That was absolutely incredible. He dominated this event, dominated it.
Lucas Parker back to start round 10. And Lucas Parker's a man that had a plan on how he was going to move his way up the leaderboard every year at the CrossFit Games, and so far he's been holding to that. Lucas Parker was 26 in 2011, and last year he finished 15.
He had a 5-year plan, and I think as a young athlete, that's a pretty mature way to look at it. I mean, it wasn't like, I'm going to win this year. He had a set plan of what he wanted to do. He's a very analytical guy, and it will be interesting to see if it is right on task with everything that he wants to do.
In every athlete meeting that we're able to attend, Lucas Parker always has 5 or 6 different questions that he asks. He's very thorough, like you said. He wants to know everything about the conditions. He wanted to know what the facility here was like, if it had a roof on it, what the floor was like underneath the bar. So he wants to know all the different variables that he's going to face when he gets into an event. And now the final swim for Lucas Parker, as he gets himself out of the pool after this, and then we'll close out his event. And the first event of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games will be in the books. Parker out of the pool, and he is done. So everybody finishing inside the 25-minute time cap in this final heat. But the event belongs to Jordan Troyan. 10 minutes, 6 seconds for Troyan, 100 points for him, and $3,000. Ben Smith, who overtook Matt Chan beyond the halfway point of the event, he finishes in 2nd place, and then Josh Bridges, making his return to the CrossFit Games, finishes in 3rd place.
In heat number 3, event number 1.
Last time Bridges was here in Southern California at the CrossFit Games, he finished 2nd, and still plenty left, plenty of competition left. But this sets up very well for him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, like the top 3, that was exactly, except for Ben Smith, I did not see him in there at all. I wasn't expecting that, but Jordan, we knew that was going to be there. Josh Bridges, we knew was going to be obviously a strong competitor with that. Ben Smith, that was some strong work right there.
Yeah, Ben Smith was a guy after his great finish in 2011. He showed up in 2012, and I think a lot of people expected more than they saw from him. He ended up finishing 11th overall last year. But now he's also setting himself up well, trying to carry some momentum into events 2 and 3. Those will be later today over at the StubHub Center in that half marathon row. Let's go down to Miranda Oldroyd at poolside for the official awards announcement.
The pool event. In 3rd place in the pool event with a time of 10:59, winning $1,000, Josh Bridges. Second place in the pool event with a time of 10:28, winning $2,000, Ben Smith. And your winner of the pool event, 1st place with a time of 10:06, winning $3,000, Jordan Troyan. As of right now, these are the top 3 men in the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. We have only just begun.
All right, guys, we're going to get this down.
So your top 3 men after one event, Jordan Troyan with 100 points, Ben Smith with 95, and then this man, Josh Bridges with 90.
No stranger to the water by any means. And, always a fighter, has a tremendous engine, and the bar muscle-ups were not going to slow him down at all.
In 2nd place, not a guy we thought about coming into this heat, but Ben Smith starting off very well.
A great swim stroke, and that's what helped him stay up there. He stayed smooth. He was consistent. He never slowed down. Kept his body efficient. Again, bar muscle-up's not a problem. Great showing for him. I'm excited to see how the rest of the weekend is for him.
And finally, the man whose eyes lit up when they announced his event, Jordan Troyan, did everything right.
That right there, that showcase a swimmer.
Michael Phelps?
That was a swimmer right there. And then, you know what? Michael Phelps probably would have had a tough time beating him because the bar muscle-ups, he was great. The swimming was obviously no issue. But, yeah, you know he wanted that one.
Jordan Troyan, $3,000, 100 points. Let's go down to Amanda Krenz.
All right, thanks, guys. So he was just telling me about what body parts are on fire right now. How is the physique feeling?
Overall, it was a fun workout. Wasn't really out of breath. It's just my lats and triceps just started to get really tight towards the middle, later rounds of the workout. But overall, it was a lot of fun. Muscle ups weren't too bad, so I'm definitely happy the way this game has started out. So.
I'm sure you are. What did you think when you heard that this was going to be event number one?
When I heard Dave Castro announce this, I was totally, psyched. Because I swam in college, swam my entire life, and bar muscle ups are my jam. So definitely couldn't write up a better workout than this for me. So.
And what was it like to be in this competition with some of the fittest people in the world?
Yeah, I still can't believe I'm standing here next to some of these guys. It's like a dream come true. Just standing next to, I consider these guys celebrities because I've seen all their videos, and just being able to shake their hands and just being in the same company as them is just amazing for me. So.
Well, the spotlight's on you right now, Jordan. Good job.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Sean, back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Jordan Troyan sits atop the leaderboard after our first of 12 scored events. And there's a name that is missing from that.
There's got to be an error in there, right? We're missing a name.
Lane assignments for Event 10, Swim and Stuff, presented by Pure Spectrum. Matt Fraser, your overall leader, right in the middle of the pool. Jeffrey Adler right now is the man who sits in second place. But again, only 45 points separate him from both Noah Olson and Justin Medeiros, and Sam Quant is only 25 points back of him. You got to think Noah Olson's looking forward to getting into the water here.
As I said before, he's the best swimmer in the field. He's got that water polo background. The man loves the water. I can't think of anyone he hasn't beat in this field in a swim event. But this is also a very aggressive event. This is a no-thinking event. That's perfect for Noah Olson today. And then Matt Fraser. These are the events where he could possibly lose. He's won every event except one. He doesn't want to come into Sunday and give any inch to any of these athletes. So he's going to have to fight very hard to keep that first place streak alive.
Every time Matt Fraser wins another event, he sets another record right now. 27 career event wins. That's the best in history. We are underway. 15 calories on the assault bike for the men, then a 50-meter swim, 10 GHD sit-ups, and then 10 slam balls. And remember, rounds 2 and 4 will be completed in reverse order. Now here's the key. They will not know their cumulative time throughout the event, and their coaches aren't there to help them out with that. So Olson and Quant are into the pool. Here comes Matt Fraser. Olson closest to the screen, Quant right next to him.
When you look at the reps in this event, it is all about the swim. It'll be the longest part of this entire event. The bike is fast, the ball is fast, and the GHD is even faster. There's no room for error when it comes to that. If you slip your foot on a GHD, you're not going to make up in 10 reps. Same thing with the ball slam. So everything is throttled down from start to finish, but the best swimmers need to take advantage of the hardest part of this event, which is that straight 50-meter swim down the pool.
There are 36 scored repetitions in each round, and now Noah Olson and Sam Quant, the first two out of the pool, and here comes Matt Fraser as well. Justin Medeiros and now Jeff Adler onto their GHDs. They have to do 10 of these and then 10 slam balls. 4-minute interval. Fastest cumulative time through the 4 intervals will win the event. Fraser's done, Quant and Olson are done, and now it's on to the slam ball.
I need to see Noah throw that ball down harder. Look at Fraser in the middle lane as he's pulling up quick and driving it down, but it slips out of your hand, and that's the danger of coming to the slam ball wet. Matt Fraser had a little bit of a slip. No room for error, and at 10 reps, you cannot have little mistakes like that. Noah had a clean run, Matt slipped in this about 4th or 5th rep, and that was the difference between a first and second place finish for the first interval of 4.
So only 8 seconds separating Olson from Adler. Olson wins the first interval. Adler finishes in 5th at 2:08.74. Now they will rest until the 4-minute mark, and they will do the event in reverse order for round 2.
So now we have an idea of what this event's going to feel like. They weren't sure how are my feet going to feel when I get onto a salt bike without shoes on. That's a unique feeling, and it does change the intensity. Right? How do I get used to getting my feet? The water is one thing, but again, you had to sprint the bike. Quant did that next to Noah, but Noah was the better swimmer. Now, I said send the swim. You're going to have to do that if you're a bad swimmer. You have no choice. You can't be slow if you're not the best. However, if you're a good one, it's okay just to be good and not get as fatigued and save it for the end. But transitions between the two. Noah getting to the ball just ahead of the other athletes, but Quant started first. I want to see more intensity from Noah between the movements and not just focus on speed during the movements.
Noah Olson with the fastest time in that first interval. 2 minutes even. And Jeffrey Adler finishing 5th, 2:08.74. So a tight first interval.
And here's the thing. Tight is the perfect adjective to use here because we said we don't want to belabor no room for error. Matt lost 3 seconds to Noah. You're not because of a slip up on the med ball. If Noah has a clean run, there's no room to make up. He's going to have to hope Noah screws up in the next 3 intervals.
Interval 2 is underway. Remember, your cumulative time is your final score, and these guys don't know what their cumulative score is. So the only way to know that you're going to win the event is if you win every interval.
Matt is not throwing the ball down. Matt is just touching the ball to the ground. I haven't seen anybody do this yet. Now, he just dropped it on that one, but that limits the errors you can have by trying to pick up a low bouncing med ball.
Number 36 scored repetitions in the event. The number of repetitions these athletes have completed will be indicated in the white box next to their names, and then the leader's name will be highlighted in blue. Right now, they are all neck and neck. Olson's off, Quant's off, Fraser's in, Medeiros and Jeff Adler is the only man who didn't finish at the same time, and it's Justin Medeiros at the top of your screen right now who leads here in interval 2.
I like that from Medeiros. That's actually a pretty darn good stroke out there from Medeiros, and he's really sending the swim. Again, it comes down to the swim in the middle, good or bad, and then clean transitions and reps on the ends of this event. But Matt Fraser is also pouring the intensity on both Quant and Noah Olson.
Fraser now is pulled ahead of Medeiros. Olson, the bottom of your screen, is in 3rd, and Sam Quant will make the touch 4th. Fraser and Medeiros out of the pool at the same time, and now onto the assault bike for 15 calories. Here comes Olson.
You gotta go. There's no pacing here. There's no pacing for 15 calories on an assault bike. Look at Matt Fraser in the center lane. Look at the cadence he has driving on that versus Noah Olson in the fore part of your screen.
Fraser and Quant trading the lead. Their judges' hands in the air at about the same time. Now Medeiros' judge's hand is in the air. Olson's judge's hand. Fraser's across. Quant is across. So actually faster that time down. So Fraser's going to be able to erase that 3-second deficit that he had to Noah Olson and actually gain some time on him. Fraser beats Olson by 6 seconds. But remember, it's your cumulative time now, and these guys don't know what that is as we're halfway through this event.
I think Matt in the first round, he just felt out what the event was going to be like. How is this bike going to feel? How's my heart rate going to be in the water? What's the transition going to be like on the GHD? And getting used to a slam ball. I guarantee you Matt's never really done slam balls in training before. Barely any of these guys have, unless they did an on-ramp at their first CrossFit event.
And another thing I'm thinking is that think about the last time we were at the pool and how there were, to put it kindly, a wide variety of techniques employed. All these guys now basically look the same when they're in the water.
Well, where did Matt lose the first part? It was on the slam ball where it slipped out of his hand because he was dropping and catching. He learned his lesson and never let go of the slam ball But when he got to the pool, he really poured on the intensity that I'm not seeing from Noah. You think you would see a little bit more of that. Noah actually looks exhausted in the pool. And then when it came down to the bike, again, there's no pacing in this event. When it's like, no, don't send it. You got to send it from end to end. And Fraser did that and just edging out Quant. So that should put him pretty close up, maybe in a second place position. Noah lost 6 seconds on that round.
Results for interval 2, both Fraser and Quant go sub 2 minutes. Olsen, Medeiros, and Adler separated by 10 seconds. So right now, unofficially, Sam Quant has the fastest cumulative time at 3:59. Fraser second at 4:03. Noah Olsen third at 4:05. Medeiros is fourth at 4:07. And Jeff Adler is fifth at 4:24. Again, that's unofficial. So Sam Quant right now, your event leader. Fraser in second, Olsen third. Interval 3 underway, and we start with 15 calories on the assault bike.
You still got to push the bike. You still got to push the bike as if it's the end of the event. There's no option here. It's the third round. We should have figured out what it feels like to go down, how you're going to feel like coming back, and you should have perfected your pace and perfected your technique for all 4 of these movements.
Sam Quant done first, and he is into the pool ahead of everybody, and Quant has a 4-second lead on Matt Fraser right now for first place. Justin Medeiros is in.
No surprise to see Quant off the bike first. He's the biggest athlete in the field, and it pays to be a big boy on an assault bike.
Noah Olsen's back in fourth. He's on the left. He would be on the left side of your screen towards the middle, but he was the 4th man into the pool, followed by Jeff Adler. But Sam Quant is in the lead. 4-second cushion on Matt Fraser coming into this interval.
Most of these guys' swim technique and ability is about the same across the board. So you got to make sure is where can I get time on people? And it's things like an assault bike. If you're big enough and strong enough, use that to your advantage while you can.
Quant done first. He'll get onto the GHDs for 10 and then onto the slam ball. Trying to hold off Matt Fraser right now. Fraser's out of the water, and he'll join Quant on the GHDs. Quant through now 20 of the 36 scored repetitions. Fraser looking like he's able to cut into Quant's lead here on the GHDs a little bit, but Quant done first and now onto the slam ball. Here comes Fraser in second.
Now I'm curious to see if Matt uses that same touch and go technique as he did in the second interval.
And now another slip for Fraser. Remember, it's only 4 seconds between Quant and Fraser at this point.
Quant's getting gassed.
Quant is done and Quant is in, so he's going to increase his lead on Fraser going into the 4th and final interval, 2:16.64 seconds, and here comes Fraser. So Quant picks up another 7 seconds on Matt Fraser, so unofficially his lead will be 11 seconds on Fraser going into the final interval. Noah Olsen is in. He takes 4th in that interval, 2:34.58. Medeiros also finished. He took 3rd in that interval, and now Jeff Adler will take 5th. Let's send it down to Nikki Brazier, who's at the pool.
Guys, I think we are really starting to see that the wetness factor of getting out of the pool and onto these pieces of equipment is really starting to take effect on these athletes. In between rounds, they're taking their towels that were put on the end to dry their bodies with and using it to dry the D-balls, to dry the GHD, and hopefully get that little bit of an advantage come the next round.
Thank you, Nikki. Jeff Adler, who is bringing up the rear here, started the day in 2nd place. And remember, only 45 points separated him from 5th place Noah Olsen.
Yes.
And that's how quickly this can change.
And what I like to see from Samuel Quant is that all weekend long, we talked earlier, he's kind of been the guy playing golf, using only the irons, just keep it down the middle of the fairway. Not hitting the big bombs off the tee box. But Quant, last night in Happy Star, went out hard and tried to keep pace with Matt Fraser and maybe dictated a little bit. We wanted to see more of that for Quant. He's picking up where he left off this morning in this first event. It's going to be very, very hard for Matt to take over Quant in this if Quant can still keep the intensity he's had so far.
Stand by.
Final interval underway. Sam Quandt unofficially has a 10-second lead on Matt Fraser in this event. Justin Medeiros is in third place, and he only has a 3-second cushion on Noah Ohlsen. Jeff Adler right now has the slowest cumulative time, unofficially 7:05.65 seconds for him. Now, Fraser's done first, and he'll get to the GHDs. Quandt is second, so Quandt just has to keep Fraser basically next to him. 10 seconds is all he can afford to lose.
Matt got there first by, again, using that touch-and-go strategy with the slam ball. We haven't seen anybody else use that. I'd be curious to see if we're going to see more of the women do that since they got to see that take place.
The Fraser's off. Medeiros was off first. He's at the top of your screen. Quandt staying with Matt Fraser.
So it's the same thing we saw on the interval. You know, when we go back the other direction, it's been a favor of Medeiros. He's fast on the slam ball in the GHD, loses some pace in the swim. But Fraser's tempo on the assault bike at the end. Quandt has the ability to be faster. He just can't get too far behind. There's not a lot of room you can make up on a 15 cal assault bike.
Justin Medeiros, top of your screen, third place in this event coming into this final interval. Matt Fraser in the middle is in second, and Sam Quandt at the bottom is in first. 10 seconds separate each of them from each other. So Medeiros is only in third by 10 seconds. Fraser is in second by 10 seconds over Medeiros, and Quandt has the lead. So Sam Quandt will probably have the advantage on the assault bike, and as long as he keeps Fraser close, he's going to win his first event here at the CrossFit Games.
This is it. This is the end of the event. It's 15 cals on the assault bike. Matt's looking over at Quandt. Can't see Medeiros' screen, but he's going to look anyways. It's a full send to the finish.
36 scored repetitions in this event. Sam Quandt is 31. Fraser's judge's hand is in the air. Quandt's judge's hand is in the air. Fraser's in. Quandt is in. So Sam Quandt only surrenders 2 seconds. So Sam Quandt is going to win this event, and he's probably going to find himself in second place overall heading into event 11. Justin Medeiros is in. This is big for Medeiros because remember, Jeff Adler only led Medeiros by 45 points going in. So Ohlsen gets in. He's going to pick up 20 on Adler. Medeiros will pick up 40. Quandt's going to pick up 85.
And all we're going to see second through 5, we thought it was compressed earlier coming in. It's going to be that much tighter coming out of this event.
And once again, just put it in a blender and mix it up because the leaderboard just does not want to stay the same after every event except for that guy. Matt Fraser will still be in first place overall